Hi, welcome to Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana. I'm Sonika, and the recipe that I've got for you today is a very interesting one. So the recipe that we're making today is called a Moghlai Paratha. Let's quickly take a look at the ingredients. Refined flour, whole wheat flour, chicken mince, chopped onions, chopped tomatoes, eggs, chopped green chilies, turmeric powder, red chili powder, garam masala powder, semolina, baking soda, milk, salt, oil, ginger garlic paste. Now that we've seen all the ingredients, we can start putting together this recipe. Now it's not a very easy recipe, but it is really a delicious one. To make this, we're going to be starting with a dough. So let's get some refined flour in a bowl. To this, I'm going to add some whole wheat flour. Next, I'm going to add some semolina, so you get a nice light crunch in your dough. Next, let's season this with a pinch of salt. And I'm also going to add a very tiny pinch of baking soda to this, so our dough is nice and light. Let's give all of this a good mix. Now let's add sufficient milk and knead this into a nice soft dough. So I've kneaded out our dough, and now I'm going to put this aside and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. And in the meanwhile, we can prepare the mixture inside this paratha. For that, I'm going to heat a pan. So while the pan is getting nice and hot, I'm going to just cover the dough in a damp muslin cloth. And now we're going to put this aside for about 10 to 15 minutes. So now that the pan is hot, let's get some oil into it. To the oil, I'm going to add some chopped onions. So in goes some chopped onions. And now I'm going to fry these onions till they go lightly golden brown in color. So these onions have gone slightly translucent. At this point, I'm going to add in some ginger garlic paste to this and give it a good mix. At this point, I'm also going to add in some of the green chilies. So now I'm going to cook these on medium heat till the onions go slightly more goldenish brown in color. Now that my onions have gained a slight color, I'm going to add the tomatoes. So let's dip in some chopped tomatoes. So now after the tomatoes, we're going to add some powdered spices to this. In goes some garam masala powder, a little bit of red chili powder. Next, let's add in some salt for seasoning. And I'm going to give this a good mix. Next, I'm going to add one final powdered spice, that's some turmeric powder, and give this a good mix again. Now finally, I'm going to add in the chicken mince. So let's go ahead and add some chicken mince to this. And now we want to mix this really well. So we've got this nice spicy chicken mince mixture ready. Now mince doesn't take too much time to cook, but it still does need to cook. So I'm going to add a little bit of water, just enough to make this easy to mix and bring it all together. And now I'm going to cover and cook this for about 5 to 7 minutes or till the chicken is nicely cooked. So our chicken keema is perfectly cooked. At this stage, I'm going to turn off the gas and we're going to let this cool. But before that, I'm going to add some mint leaves and some coriander to it. So now I'm just going to take some fresh mint and fresh coriander and I'm going to roughly chop it up. And I'm going to add this to the chicken mince and give it one final stir. And I'm going to let this cool. In the meanwhile, we can start preparing the paratha. So for the Moghlai paratha, we've got a dough which is nicely rested and it's ready now. So I'm going to take a large portion of this dough and I'm going to roll it out into a nice big square. I'm just going to dust the worktop with some flour. And now I'm going to roll this out into a square. So here it is, I've rolled out the paratha into a rather large circle. And now we're going to proceed with the recipe for making this. So now to proceed, I'm going to crack an egg in a bowl. I'm going to season the egg with some salt and whisk it lightly. So I've got an egg which I've whisked. I'm going to keep it aside. I've also heated a pan, and once the pan gets nice and hot, I'm going to add sufficient oil in it so we can deep fry these parathas later. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take a portion of the chicken mixture and put it in the center of the paratha. Now you need to be really careful because working with this after adding the mixture is not very easy. After this, I'm going to just spoon in a couple of spoons of the egg mixture into this. And with the help of a spoon, I'm going to nicely spread this out. I'd rather use my hands for this one. Now for the next part is that I'm going to take the edges and bring it together in the center to form a nice square shaped paratha. I'm also going to use a slight portion of the egg just to make sure the edges seal really well. So just apply some of the egg. I'm going to just press this together slightly. And I'm going to heat sufficient oil in a pan. Now I don't want to deep fry these, but I do want them to cook in sufficient amount of oil. So you take a shallow pan and you fill it with a couple of spoonfuls of oil. And now you want to carefully lift this up and place it in the hot oil. And now I'm going to cook this on a medium heat for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side or till the paratha is perfectly cooked. I've been frying the paratha for about 2 to 3 minutes and now I'm going to flip it over and it's got that perfect beautiful golden brown color. And now we're going to cook it till it goes up similar color on the other side as well. So my Moghlai paratha seems like it's beautifully cooked. At this stage, if you want, you could also drizzle some of the beaten egg over it and refry it. But I'm going to skip that. I'm just going to quickly get it out on absorbent paper. And now all we need to do is serve it. So I've got this nice perfect crispy paratha which I'm going to cut into smaller pieces now. And now I'm just going to stack these up on a plate. I'm just going to garnish this with a stalk of mint on this side. So here it is, a fabulous recipe for a Moghlai paratha. A complete meal, really simple to make and fabulous to taste. Make sure you try this one. Hi, I'm Sonika and you're watching me on Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana. If you like the videos that we're doing on our channel and if you are learning something from them, make sure you do subscribe to the channel.